Hello, hello, bonjour, bonsoir. It's Mary Schiller, also known as Mary in Paris sometimes, and I'm really excited to be here with you today to talk with you all about passive income from Insight Timer. If you are joining me live, thank you so much for taking the time to do that. And if you are watching this on the replay, I also appreciate you taking the time, and I promise to do my best to make it worth your while. So I really feel like Insight Timer is the greatest thing since sliced bread, to use a well-worn cliche. But ever since I discovered Insight Timer in mid-2023, I should say, I learned about it in mid-2023. I didn't start to see the possibilities until late 2023. I have really been excited about this app. So before I jump into what I want to say, I would love to know from you, if you're here with me live, if you can let me know in the chat, have you heard of Insight Timer before? Have you used it as a user? Are you a teacher already on there? I would love to know if you are familiar with it or not, because I definitely was not. And I found out that a lot of people in my circle were familiar with Insight Timer. And I was like, what is this thing? It's got a weird name. I don't get it. So Kevin says completely new. All right. You're just like I was. Mimi is a daily free user. I'll explain the difference between the free version and the subscription version. Steve says, Mimi told me about it. Good for you. Joanne, you have, and you've just been approved as a teacher. Amazing. Susie, you're somewhat new. All right, excellent. So just to give you a little bit of my history with Insight Timer. Yeah, totally fine, Charlene. You can have your camera on or off. I'm asking people to just stay muted, and I will keep an eye on the chat, so you can just type into the chat. So I was introduced to the Insight Timer app last year, 2023. Charlene been using it for a long time. See, another person who was in on this way before I was. A former client told me about it and said, Mary, have you heard of Insight Timer? No. Well, you ought to consider becoming a teacher on there, because I think the audience on Insight Timer might really like some of the things that you've been teaching over all these years. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. So I went to the Apple Store, the App Store, and downloaded the free version of Insight Timer and started looking around. And I was like, wow, this is really intriguing. I'm kind of liking this space. It was immediately apparent to me that Insight Timer had nothing to do with social media at all, that it was a place for people to go and find beautiful talks that have to do with self-development and self-discovery. There were things on there about helping you sleep better, and there was calming music and all these different things. And I thought, why didn't I learn about this before? And I'll try to share my screen on my phone to show you a bit more about Insight Timer in a second. And so I went through the process of becoming a teacher on the app, and that was very simple. I'll talk more about that too. And I uploaded a couple of free tracks, audio tracks, just talks. These were actually talks that I already had recorded, and I just had to tweak them a little bit for Insight Timer. And then I kind of just forgot about it. Who else has done that? Where I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then I literally just sort of put it off to the side. I had a lot going on in my life, my personal life, at the second half of 2023. And I then put like a couple more tracks that I already had, free things that I already had on there. And then around, I think it was in September, I said to myself, or it was either August or September, I can't quite remember. I said, maybe I'll try putting a course on here and just see what happens. And a course on Insight Timer is simply a series of audio lessons. Insight Timer is an audio-based app. A course is just a set of audio lessons that form a course that someone could go through. And I put a course on there that I actually had already created and sold many copies of. And I, again, had to make some little tweaks to it. And then I did the same with another course that I already had. And then I again sort of forgot about it. And then I think it was I'd have to look at the date, but I think it was in September. I got a notification in my email that the Insight Timer people had sent me a PayPal payment for over $500. And I was like, what? That has to be a mistake. So I immediately went into PayPal and looked, and sure enough, it was $511 and some cents. And it was from the 2 courses that I had uploaded on there. And I had interacted with a few students in the courses as well, but really had no clue that that was going to lead to any income, because let me know in the chat if you feel a tad jaded about these things. You know, we're so used to the social media platforms that don't pay us anything to put content on there. Do you ever think about that? That you put all of this free content on these platforms, not knocking them, but you know which ones I mean. And I'm not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong with these places, although I'll tell you my reasons why I love Insight Timer so much more. But we're not getting any compensation for any of that. And so when I put these things on Insight Timer, I literally had no idea how much they paid their teachers. I only had seen that they allocated a certain amount of the subscription revenue for teaching income, but I didn't know in real dollars what that actually meant. So guess what I did after I got that first payment? I immediately was like, what else can I put on here? So I ended up putting a total of 9 courses on Insight Timer through November of last year, and got some more income, which I will share in a little bit, and started interacting more with the people on the Insight Timer app. And I literally felt like I had just stepped into an entirely new zone where, you know, unlike social media where there's a lot of combativeness and a lot of vitriol and things like that, when I go on Insight Timer, and if you're an Insight Timer user or teacher, you can chime in the chat, you just feel like you're in this space that is filled with love, frankly. It's filled with respect. It is made up of people who truly care about each other and about, you know, the discussions that are happening in there. It's a very thoughtful environment. It bears no resemblance whatsoever to any other place I have been online. I have been working in the online space. I'm embarrassed to say this because you will totally know how old I am when I tell you this, but I have been working online since 1993. Okay. I actually was doing online research in 1993, and then it just continued to build my interest in being online. I started teaching officially online, I think it was either 1999 or 2000, and have been involved in that sphere ever since. So I have a long history of spending time in online spaces. And I've literally never found a place like Insight Timer. And I'm actually kind of getting choked up as I'm talking about this because I've been a coach officially since 2016. I've built some incredible relationships with people. Many of you who are on this call or watching it on the replay, I've known since then or even before. And I can say that the quality of the interactions that I have with the people on Insight Timer are at that same level. They are, when I say that they are caring and thoughtful people, I really mean it. Whenever someone shares a comment with me on one of my courses on the app, it's always a very thoughtful comment or question. It's never accusatory. It's just it's like you can leave all of that yuckiness over there somewhere and come on over to Insight Timer, and you will start to experience what I am talking about. And I have to give a lot of credit to the people who are behind Insight Timer, the founders, the people who run it, the people who are very much into quality control. I just feel like they have done an absolutely brilliant job of creating a gorgeous space for people to discover more about themselves and to meet with other like-minded people. And Darlene says they have the kindest, most efficient support team I've ever worked with. Absolutely true. If you decide to become a teacher on the app and you have a question about something, or you know, if you're going through the application process, which is very simple, I'll share it in a moment. And you know, you do something that's not quite right. When they contact you, they're very kind about how they do that. They don't say you messed up, you know. It's more like, oh, your photo needs to be like this, you know, or they'll give you some examples to follow. And so that's really, you know, if you only took away what I just said, right, up until this point, that is really how beautiful I think Insight Timer is. You know, even setting aside the income possibilities for us, just being able to be in a place like that, especially, you know, these days where, as I was saying, you know, there seems to be so much emphasis um, on things that go by really quickly. I mean, when people are on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you know, they're doing the scroll, right? They're doing this. That is not how people are on Insight Timer. There is no scrolling like that on Insight Timer. People find something and then they are interested in it. So I'm going to see if I can share my phone. Let's see if I can do this. I think I can. Okay. Just a moment here. Um, all right, hang on. I don't know if you can all see that or not. I can't see you anymore. Let's see what happens here. I don't think that quite worked. In any event, let me try an alternative here. Just a second. All right. We're gonna go to all right, can you see this Insight Timer homepage? All right, so Insight Timer, as I mentioned, is actually an app for your phone. And so this will give you an idea of what is actually on the app, since I didn't quite get the sharing of my phone correct. So essentially, Insight Timer's name comes from the fact that it started as a timer for people to meditate with. So if I could have showed you on my phone, there's a little thing in there that says timer that you can click, and then you can have background music. It'll have a starting bell, an ending bell. So that's where the name came from, because I was like, what did this name come from? So on Insight Timer on your phone, you can attend live events which can be talks or actual classes like yoga classes. You can listen to guided meditations. You can listen to things to help you to sleep better. These get really good reviews on the app. You can listen to soothing original music on the app, which is really nice. You can listen to talks, which I really enjoy. There's things for parents if you want things for your children. Sometimes people will upload recordings of bedtime stories and things like that. Then behind the paywall for Insight Timer, which is $60 a year, you get access to all of the courses on the app. And the courses are anything from 2 lessons up to, there is no limit to how many lessons they can be. And you can find them on all sorts of different topics. As you can see here, there's some popular courses about emotions, a life audit, outdoor nature meditation. They're on all different kinds of topics. And here are some of their featured teachers who are some of the most popular. There's some guided meditations. It's a really robust app in terms of what it offers. And so when I first got on here, I was really only looking at, I had paid for the subscription, but I was really only looking at the free things. And then I started to dive into some of the courses and things that were on here. And I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much depth here. I think at this point, there's more than 3,000 courses on here. So if you think about the value of that for the user, for $60 a year, they get access to thousands of courses. It's pretty incredible. So let me stop this share and go back to my notes just to make sure I'm not forgetting something. Okay. So that, in a rather brief nutshell, is what Insight Timer is all about. Now, when I applied to be a teacher on the app, I was thinking to myself, now, I'm not a spiritual teacher. Some people disagree with that, but I do not see myself as a spiritual teacher. I don't know how to meditate, and I don't like to meditate. I have tried it and it doesn't work for me. I don't like it. And I'm thinking, am I going to be anyone that anybody would actually listen to on this app? And what I've discovered over the past several months, since I've gotten more and more into it, is that one of the other beautiful things about Insight Timer is that all voices are welcomed there. All voices are welcomed. I don't have one of those. I mean, I suppose if I practiced, I could have one of those really soothing voices that put people to sleep like this. I could do that, but I don't. When I teach my courses and do all of that for the app, I'm talking like this. I talk the way I talk. I laugh a lot. I'm just myself. And I've been happily surprised to see that, oh, actually, people do appreciate me. And at this moment, I have more than 6,200 people enrolled in my courses on Insight Timer, and that number goes up constantly. So before I get into this next bit, I would love to know if you have any questions at this point. If you want to type them into the chat, that would be great. I'm going to talk about applying to be a teacher next, and also the income potential and the reach potential and how the app works on our behalf. Do you need to subscribe? No, you don't. You just need the free account to be a teacher. The reason that I recommend that you purchase the subscription is a couple of reasons. One is that it supports you and all the other teachers on the app, because that's how we get paid, is through the subscription. And also, I find it helpful to just see what other people are doing in terms of courses. So I will, sign up for a course and listen to it. Not, I don't want to copy anybody, but just to see the variety on there and kind of get inspired. And, I might have a new idea for something. Like, if I listen to a course on a specific topic that I'm interested in, I could go, oh, I have another take on this topic that I could make a course about. So I find it helpful to be part of the $60 per year subscription. So let me go ahead and show you. I'll put the link here to become a teacher, in case you're interested in going that route. And I will show you, they have, let me just get that page up here. They have a very detailed description of how to become a teacher on the app. So I can give you this link as well. I'll give that to you in just a second. So essentially, you sign up with for a free account. You build your profile, which means your name, etc., a photo, and they have specific parameters for what kinds of photos of yourself they want. A bio in the website, they want you to put something there. Credentials and qualifications. That is really more about if you were going to teach things like meditation or yoga or things like that, you would need to supply some credentials. I have no credentials in that way. And so I don't even remember what I put there. I think I put something about my master's degrees, or I don't even know if I said that. So I wouldn't concern yourself too much with that. I didn't have any issues. Put in your payment details, and then as a new teacher, before you are official, you need to put up 2 free tracks. So these are audios that are at least 5 minutes long that are part of the free version of the app. And they need to get some reviews that are at least 4.5 out of 5 stars each. And once you have gotten that, which doesn't take that much time, then you can start to publish courses on Insight Timer. And so one of the cool things about Insight Timer that I have noticed is that they, as I said, they really welcome all voices and all, topics, as long as they are related somehow to self-discovery. These free tracks can be on almost anything as long as it's related to that. So that's why I feel like Insight Timer is such a perfect place for coaches or life coaches in particular, because your particular perspective is going to be valued and appreciated on Insight Timer. And so the free tracks are a great way for you to just get started and start to get a feel for what people like who are on Insight Timer and who are listening. It helps in the beginning when you're trying to get those reviews to share the links to those 2 tracks with people you know, and because they're free, they can listen to them. They're not behind the paywall. So that's a very easy way to start getting the star ratings that you need to start uploading courses. All right, let me stop sharing and just see if there are any questions. Oh, let me put the link about that takes you right to that page. I'll put that in the chat here. So that has all of the info for becoming a teacher. So do you have any questions at this moment before I start talking about the massive possibilities for passive income on this app? I think your mind will be sort of blown when I talk to you about this. Any questions? Okay. So as I said a little while ago, the first, how long did it take to get approved? Good question. So when you upload your free tracks, or anything really on Insight Timer, it takes about, well, it varies anywhere between like 5 to 7 business days. Same with your teacher profile, it will take about a week. So what I did was, after I submitted my teacher profile, and I think I submitted one, I think I submitted one track at that time too. I don't really remember if you can submit a track while your teacher profile is being approved. I can't quite remember, but it took about 2 weeks for all of that to happen, which I thought was pretty good. And also, I made a mistake on my profile photo where I uploaded the wrong version. I had a low resolution version of my photo and a high resolution, and I accidentally uploaded the low res version. And so they came back and said, it's too low resolution. I was like, oh, duh. So and that took a few days for them to review that and then approve it. So it might have taken a little bit longer than that. But anytime I have submitted anything to Insight Timer for approval, it generally takes around 5 to 7 business days for them to either approve it or get back to me. And so far, I haven't had anything rejected, except for things like one of the images that I put with one of my courses didn't follow their guidelines, and it was right there and I just missed it. So they have very high quality control, very, very high quality control. I'm saying that twice because I really appreciate that they do. And I think it's beneficial to everybody that they have these quality control things in place. Okay, 5 days, Joanne said, right. So that's about been my experience too. The free tracks do not have to be as high quality as the courses do in terms of the audio recording quality. However, when I have my courses on there, I record them using my phone. So it's not like I have some fancy schmancy thing. I have an app on my phone that I use. I'll type the name in here. It's called Ophonic. I use that on my phone. I have my fancy schmancy recording setup is me sitting on my bed with pillows around me to dampen the echo, and me using a microphone like this with my phone. And then I have an editing tool that I use on my computer to edit. And what's really interesting to me too is that because this is an audio-based app, it's so much easier to get started because you don't have to worry about being on camera. I don't have to worry about what anyone seeing me sitting in my bedroom with the pillows around me. I just look how I look. It doesn't matter if I've, showered, nobody cares. And so it just makes it so much easier for us to make these incredible impacts on people because we're not futzing around with audio equipment and video editing, video cameras and video editing and all of that, which is such a so much higher level of tech experience. Let's see. I have recordings already prepared. Okay, so good question. I had some already prepared, except that I had to edit them a little bit because with Insight Timer, and I love this, you are not allowed to mention anything like your website. So at the beginning of a course, I can't say, hi, it's Mary Schiller from maryinparis.com. And on a lot of my recordings, I had that in there. So I had to remove those things and just make some little tweaks like that. Marina says, not being a native English speaker, not sure that your English would be accepted. Absolutely, it would be. You can also do your native language. Absolutely. So it's really up to you. I have listened to people who have accents on there. There's lots and lots of them. So I really wouldn't worry about that too much, but I would do whatever language you feel most comfortable in and would really want to create audios with. Let's see. Do you think any marketing would be necessary to find it? Okay, so this is the beautiful part of Insight Timer. I'm going to show you my dashboard here. Let me just get this on here. So I'm taking you behind the scenes now. You're going into the teacher area. So teachers get paid through the courses. I'll show you my revenue statement for the last pay period so you can see what I'm talking about. And we also get paid through plays of our tracks and also donations. However, The courses are really where it's at in terms of payment, and you'll see that in a second. But I wanted to show you these numbers of people that I have in my courses. I now have 11 courses on this app, and I have done, would you like to know how much marketing I have done? None. I do no marketing at all. You may, if you follow me on Instagram, maybe once every month or so, I'll put a link to one of my tracks on an Instagram story. I have my Insight Timer profile link in my signature on my emails, but I don't do any marketing at all. What's beautiful about Insight Timer is that once you have some people, even just a few people in your courses, the app, and they have left a review or a rating, the app starts to serve it up to people. I don't understand how this works. Obviously, it's their algorithm or algorithms that are doing this on our behalf. But I can tell you that every day now I'm getting probably 20 or 30 more students in my courses, which I find amazing because I literally do nothing. The only things that I do are I create courses and I interact with students in the courses when they have shared a comment. How is the rating achieved? So the rating is achieved by people going through the course, and at the end of the course on the app only, this is not on the computer version, they are prompted to leave a review. So that's how they leave a review. Also, I'll show you, so in this course, this is 28 Days of Simplicity. People type comments in here. And when you respond to a comment, you get paid. So you not only get paid for the plays, but you also get paid for student comments. So let me show you something about the plays as well. So they just started this analytic in here where they show you the total plays. These are per week of this particular course is the green. And the blue is what they call payable plays. A payable play is a play that is at least 2 minutes. So every lesson in a course has to be a minimum of 5 minutes. If someone listens for 2 minutes, you get paid for that play. Pretty simple. We also can get paid through donations, and I will show you that here. You can, there's a button over here where you can keep track of donations that people give you, and you can respond to them. But honestly, the courses are where it's at. I have learned through my looking at my revenue sheets. I'll show you one right now. So this was the last one that I got. You'll see here, so I had in the month of February, this is the most recent one, I had 234 plays of the free tracks. I have 5 free tracks on there, and I got paid $1.70. Okay, so not very much. But look at how much I got paid for the course plays. I had 1,853 plays, and I got paid more than $460. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, that is serious passive income. Like, I'm not doing anything. People are going on the app, they're joining my courses, and they're listening. Just to give you some context here as well. So this is super important. I probably should have said this earlier, but after I put 9 courses on the app, after I got that $500 as my first thing, I was like, oh, I got to put some more on here. I had intended to keep adding like 3 courses a month, maybe even 4. However, life got in the way of that in a major way for last December, January, and February. I added nothing. I added no tracks, no courses. This is really crucial. I added no content at all to Insight Timer for December of 2023 January and February of 2024. December was a crazy month in my personal life, which probably led me to getting extremely sick in January. I could barely do anything in January and into February. And so I just didn't add anything. And yet, for those 3 months total, I think I earned around $2,200. Even though I added nothing. All I did was respond to a few student comments. So if you do the math here, you can see that per play, we're earning about 25 cents. And the replies to students vary between, this is an insane number to me, $16 each up to around 20. And I think the fluctuation is because of the way that the subscriptions work. There might be fewer subscriptions one month and then more the next month, and we get paid according to those. But think about this for a second. In December, January, and February, I spent, and I'm being generous, I would say I spent a total of maybe an hour and a half per month on this app answering questions. So that would be like 4.5, 5 hours of work, quote unquote, and I got paid over $2,200 for that. So when I think of numbers like that, what that tells me is, first of all, Insight Timer is an incredible opportunity for us, but it also tells me that the people who are running Insight Timer really value what we do. It's not like any other platform I have ever encountered. During that same period of time, I had 9 courses as well, I think 8 or 9 on the Udemy platform. I made $120 versus $5,200 in the last few months on Insight Timer. So where do you think I'm putting my attention? Bye, Udemy. I'm not talking to you anymore. I've loved you, but you're history. All right, let me stop this sharing. So Susie, use the web version for accessibility reasons. Yeah, so I think on the web version, I don't know if it comes up like that at the end of, if you've listened to something. I don't think it pops up on there. I think it's only on the app on your phone. So last week, no, a few days ago, I was talking to another coach who's also a teacher on here. And they were telling me that they have been speaking with teachers on Insight Timer who are earning $10,000, $15,000 a month from this app. And I am not at all surprised by that because, as I said, I have a few courses on there now, but what I've discovered is that you can put a few courses on there, and if 1 or 2 of them start to take off, they become sort of your bread and butter. The more people that are in them, the more people start to show up. And again, I am not doing any marketing at all. So, if I'm thinking of what passive income actually is, I want something that is earning money for me no matter what I'm doing, that takes, I don't want to say none of my time because that's not feasible. All income takes time, but takes a minimal amount of my time. I want to create something once and not have to do anything to it ever again. This fits all of those bills. And on top of that, it blows my mind to think that, like, in just that one course, I have more than 300 plays a week. So that's, 300 times, 350 times just for that one course that people are listening to the message that I want to share with the world. And we all have a message that we want to get out to people, something that will give them hope, something that will, give them a better quality of life. And as we all know, it's very hard to build your own platform to do that, right? It's hard to do that on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. And Insight Timer exists. It is there for this purpose. Its purpose, as it seems to me, is to create this beautiful space online where people may not have the same ideas, but they all are looking for ways to discover more about themselves. And they have created this place where they really value what you and I do. And they show that by paying us extremely well. As Susie said, love the no marketing. No, yeah, I have no interest in going back on social media. I don't even think about it anymore. I'm on Instagram to share personal stuff every now and then, but that's it. I don't go on Facebook anymore. I just don't. I don't like it. I never really liked it. And now it's like, why would I want to go on there when I have this beautiful place to hang out? Now, there are other things that teachers can do. You can host live events, for example, and during a live event, you can get paid for that by requesting donations, or people will spontaneously give you a donation. You don't get paid for the live event. Live events are recorded, but only for you, the teacher. There's no way to really share the replays on the app. But I really recommend that if you become a teacher on Insight Timer, which I really hope you do, that you, once you're approved, that you really put your emphasis on creating amazing audio courses for the app and just building up a roster of these courses, because that is where you can make the most impact and the most income. So let me pause there and see if there are any questions at this point. How are you, if you were not familiar with Insight Timer before, how is it looking to you now? Because, for me, it's just been like, I wish I had known about it sooner for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I know, Kevin, I really, once I saw the potential, once I got that first, and I hate to make this all about money, but like I said before, I was a bit jaded. I didn't know how much they paid. I had no idea. And when I got that first payment, I was like, oh my gosh, these people are not kidding around. Like, they really want good people on there to become teachers and to, support their community. So I'm all about that. I feel like if we have the capability of adding to this platform and encouraging people to subscribe, that's part of it too. I want to support a place like this. I'm done. Sorry, Meta, but I'm done supporting you. I've been on you for a long time. I've paid for ads on you. I'm done. You don't need my money. This is a place where I want to invest myself, my energy, my focus, because I really love what they're doing. Yeah, no problem, Joanne. It's been interesting because coaches that I've talked to who have not focused on the courses and who've done like a lot of live events and things, their income has not been what mine has been already. And I'm just getting started. I mean, anybody who's on here who knows me at all, what I'm like. When I go into creation mode, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Now that I'm healthy again, thank goodness, I've added a couple of new courses recently, and one of them is climbing the charts like crazy. Like, I can't even believe how many people are in there already. So, it helps to also look there's an area in the support section that tells you what their most popular general topics are on the app. And it helps, if you can, to take, your own angle on those topics, because those are the ones that people are searching for the most. Under the globe on the website version indicates here now that 28 million. Yes. So when you open the app on your phone, it'll tell you how many people are on there today. And today it was like 566,000 people. So, they do have a lot of people on the app on a daily basis, which I find really exciting, because think about that. That's 500,000 people. 500,000 people are opening that app and listening to something on there. And that is a huge opportunity for us to get in front of people. So this is the other thing that you've probably figured out, is that if you're a coach and you have something that you want to say, you don't have to work at building this audience. It's already there. It's already there. There are people on there who are waiting for the very thing that you want to share with them. Do they do affiliate links if you get people to subscribe? No, there's no affiliate program. So yeah, thanks, Susie. So there's no affiliate program, no. And I'm okay with that because as far as I'm concerned, their payment program for us as teachers is so generous that I have no complaints at all. None at all. Now, what other questions can I answer? You can go ahead and type into the chat. And then I will share just a couple of things for you if you would like my support in getting started on Insight Timer. Because of course, once I figured out what a great place this was, my next thought was, well, how can I help other people to get on here? Types of talks. Okay, that's a good question. So you can do a talk on pretty much anything. My free tracks are literally just me talking for 10 or 15 minutes about a topic. That's it. I don't know what all of mine are. I'd have to look, but I have one that's like, what are they? I can't think. I have one that's about money. I have another one that's about like following your desires and letting yourself want these things so that you go forward. I can't remember what the other ones are right now. But I think that there's room for all different kinds of topics. I did upload one track that is behind the paywall. I would not recommend doing that except in one case. But that track gets one play a month. And I think it's because people aren't looking for premium single tracks when they are paying for the subscription. They want the courses. And so they're just not even looking. The only reason you might want to upload a premium track is if you're unsure if your audio quality could meet their standards. That might be a good way to test it. But after that, I wouldn't do it again. You mentioned Ophonic in the chat. Yes. So Ophonic is an app on my phone. It's only for Apple, unfortunately. I've used Ophonic to record audio since 2015. It's just a really simple app that I use on my phone. I plug my little earbuds into it. I talk into the microphone. And the reason that I use it is because you get 2 hours of free recording per month. But the reason that I use it is because it has a built-in production system. So when you record something on it, it goes then through a little production process that cleans up the audio and makes it sound as good as it possibly can before you bring it into whatever editing software you're using. And I've just found that it's a really, really good app. So if you are the type of person who wants to create guided meditations, of course you can do that. That's brilliant because a lot of people are doing that on Insight Timer. That's not something that I can do. I'm more of a talk person, but you're welcome to do anything along those lines. So if you are, let me see, what editing software? I use one called Descript. And I really enjoy it, especially for audio. I think that it is okay for video. I've used it for video editing, and I don't mind it for that, but I think it's much better for audio editing. I find it very easy to use for editing purposes for these. One thing that's nice about it too is Descript works by providing you with a transcript, and essentially the way that you edit is almost like you're in a Word document, where if you don't want something, you just highlight it and hit delete and it's gone. So you're not having to go into a timeline situation and trying to cut and paste and whatever. It's all done on a transcript. It's very easy. So of course I do have, is music really needed? No, you don't have to add music. Nope. I do not think you need to use music at all. I use music only at the beginning and end of my lessons sometimes, and I will occasionally use music in the middle somewhere, or I'll include a sound effect. or something if I think it will add to the atmosphere that I'm trying to create, but it's not required at all. And that's correct. They don't allow anything that resembles hypnosis. Good point, Susie. But yeah, other than that, if you go on the app or on the web version and start to look at the variety of offerings on there, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much there is. So if you are interested in my help, I have two things that I can offer to you. One is a live group program that actually starts this coming Monday, the 15th of April. And it is a 10-day program where I walk you through all of the steps of creating an audio course. And I ran this once before, about a month or so ago. Excuse me. And many of the people in there were not already teachers on the app. They started their application process while they were going through this. And I said, it's really great if you can have your first audio course ready to go by the time you are approved as a teacher. And that's what many of them did. So that's an offer for you. Let me put the link right here. Did you say that you need to have credentials to offer meditations? No, I think they only require that for things like yoga classes, or if you were doing some sort of specialized meditation. I don't know anything about meditation, but for example, the premium track that I uploaded, I called it a guided meditation, even though it's kind of more like a talk, but I tried to get that, quieter voice thing going just as an experiment. So I don't think so. So this live training takes 10 days, plus it includes some bonus support, including one-to-one coaching with me and a group community. And it's a really exciting program because when I ran it before, a lot of people, the majority of the people who went through that program got their course created either by the end of the program or shortly thereafter, and were able to, start to generate some income. So that was really, really exciting. So I would love to have you in there if that's of interest. Let me look at Susie's question. Working on getting applied, make 2 free tracks. Yes. So yeah, exactly. You are in the program, Susie, as you know. And one of the reasons that I made it 10 days is because that is a good amount of time to make a short audio course. I suggest 5 to 7 lessons of about 5 minutes each. It's very, very doable. And I walk you through everything every single day. So you have support from me and from the other people in the program to, help you hold yourself accountable to that. The calls are in the evenings, Paris time. They're all at 7 p.m. My time. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern. I do that to try to accommodate as many people as I can. And yes, they're recorded. So as soon as I get the link to the recording, I put it up in the online course space. And just so you know, the community is on Slack. It is not on Facebook. So no Facebook allowed in my world. All right. So that is one way I can support you. I also have another course called Insight Timer Secrets that is an overview of Insight Timer that gives you my insider tips on getting started and being successful on Insight Timer. It's a complete online course, and then I'm offering some bonus Zoom calls with that. Right now, if you wanted both, there is a bundle price for the online course and the live training that I just mentioned. So if you want to take a look at this page on my site, maryinparis.com/insight, you can find out about that one. But I am really excited to be offering these two ways of supporting people because as Susan said, I know that sometimes life gets in the way. I know that tech questions come up, and I don't want to see any of that stop you from succeeding if this is exciting to you. And just to reiterate how I started this talk, this is the most incredible place online that I have found in, a gazillion years, 20 something, 30 years. I've never been in a space where I felt more supported by the people who run the app, by the people in the courses who interact with me there. I have done a few live events to just see what that was like, and those were absolutely incredible. I loved the conversations that we had. It's similar to like a Facebook Live where you're on camera and people type into a chat, and people are very generous with donations and things. So, if this sounds exciting to you and I can support you, please feel free to reach out to me or jump into one of these programs. And if you're not ready to do that and you just want to explore the app, please go do that and then write to me and let me know what you discover. So any final questions, final thoughts before we sign off? I hope that you are sensing my enthusiasm, my over the top enthusiasm for Insight Timer. Yes, for sure. I'll see you on Monday at our first Zoom call, Susan. Um, uh, you know, it's rare to find something like this, and I just wish that I had known about it sooner, but I'm so grateful to know about it now. And it's become a huge focus of my time and my creative output. I have so much fun coming up with the course ideas and then recording the audios and then seeing all of the people join and the interaction. It's just a wonderful experience. I have nothing negative to say about it at all. Great. I'm glad it was clear, Kevin. Thank you, Charlene, Debbie, everybody who was here. And if you have any questions about anything, you can always reach out to me at Mary@maryinparis.com. So thanks, everybody. This was so much fun.